Taehyung reveals the truth behind Jungkook's choice. Army in shock. The silence of millions of fans was broken when an unexpected revelation came directly from Kim Taehyung. In a statement that no one anticipated, Taehyung disclosed why Jungkook, the youngest member of BTS, has consistently chosen to keep him by his side while leaving countless questions unanswered about the absence of others. Why only Taehyung? Why has Jungkook been seen repeatedly relying on him in moments both private and public? The answer, unveiled by Taehyung himself, has left ARMY in disbelief, and it now sparks a wave of speculation about what truly binds the two members beyond the surface of their long-standing friendship. What Taehyung exposed was not a casual remark nor a scripted sentiment. It was a raw and deliberate unveiling, filled with weight and consequence. He did not hesitate to clarify the depth of the matter. Jungkook had reasons, urgent, personal, and undeniably emotional, for making such a choice. This admission shifts the narrative from harmless camaraderie into a matter that resonates with profound significance, suggesting underlying dynamics that the public had overlooked for years. ARMY, who have witnessed countless interactions among the members, suddenly felt confronted with a revelation that turns those observations into something far more meaningful and intense. Taehyung explained that Jungkook's preference was not rooted in convenience or superficial bonds, but rather in trust built through years of unspoken understanding. He described moments when Jungkook found himself cornered, overwhelmed, and surrounded by pressure from expectations that no one could shoulder except him. During those instances, Taehyung claimed he was the only one Jungkook allowed into his space, the only one permitted to see vulnerability beyond the polished image demanded by the industry. The confession stunned ARMY because it was the first time Taehyung openly addressed the question many had whispered about. Why does Jungkook choose him above everyone else? The reaction among fans was immediate and visceral. Social platforms erupted as phrases like "only Taehyung" and "Jungkook's choice" trended within minutes of Taehyung's disclosure. Yet behind the excitement lay an undercurrent of concern. Why now? Why would Taehyung decide to speak about such a delicate matter at this moment? Was there a deeper situation unfolding behind the scenes that forced this truth to surface? These questions spread like wildfire, leaving ARMY searching for answers in every word, every gesture, and every detail of Taehyung's appearance as he delivered his remarks. Observers quickly noted that Jungkook himself has remained largely silent on the issue, fueling speculation that Taehyung's words were not rehearsed with him beforehand. If that is the case, then Taehyung has taken a step that could alter the perception of their bond permanently. The choice to speak on behalf of Jungkook's reasoning carries weight, and it suggests either a deep understanding between the two or a desperate need to shield Jungkook from further scrutiny. Regardless of the motivation, ARMY is now left with an undeniable fact. Taehyung has publicly acknowledged that Jungkook's loyalty to him is not random but deliberate. One cannot ignore the timing of this revelation. Coming shortly after Jungkook's recent appearances, where he was noticeably accompanied only by Taehyung, questions had already been swirling. Many fans asked why the youngest member seemed to distance himself from others, why he sought comfort exclusively in Taehyung's presence, and why such moments always carried a weight of intensity that could not be easily explained. Now, Taehyung has given a glimpse into that mystery, but instead of resolving it, his statement has deepened the intrigue. What exactly did Jungkook endure that made him choose Taehyung as his sole confidant? And what does this mean for the larger dynamics within BTS? The emotional gravity of Taehyung's disclosure cannot be overstated. He described Jungkook's decision as something born not of favoritism, but of survival. He portrayed a picture of Jungkook facing immense pressure, of carrying burdens that no young man should bear alone, and of needing one steady anchor to withstand it all. According to Taehyung, he became that anchor not by design, but by circumstance, an unspoken pact formed in moments of crisis. The way he recounted it painted a sobering reality that left fans torn between admiration for their bond and unease about the struggles hidden beneath the surface. the dramatic effect of this revelation has reached beyond fandom. Analysts and cultural commentators now highlight how such an admission sheds light on the unseen emotional toll of global fame. The narrative around BTS has often focused on success, influence, and global impact, but Taehyung's words puncture that narrative with a reminder of the human cost. Jungkook's reliance on Taehyung is no longer interpreted as mere friendship. It now represents an emotional necessity born out of pressure that outsiders may never fully grasp. The revelation reframes the way fans will view every interaction between the two going forward. At the same time, the silence from Jungkook adds to the tension. Every absence of his response, every decision to remain quiet, becomes its own statement. Is his silence a form of agreement, an acknowledgement that Taehyung spoke the truth? Or is it a sign of internal conflict, perhaps discomfort with the sudden exposure of something deeply personal? These questions hang in the air, unanswered, keeping ARMY suspended in a state of anticipation. The more Jungkook refrains from comment, the more powerful Taehyung's words become, almost as if they now define the narrative by default. This revelation also challenges long-held assumptions about group dynamics. For years, ARMY has celebrated the unity of BTS, highlighting the bonds among all members as equally significant. Yet Taehyung's admission carves out a distinction. Jungkook does not lean on everyone equally, but instead places singular trust in him. This fact disrupts the idealized balance fans have cherished, and it forces a reevaluation of the emotional architecture within the group. The impact of this could be long-lasting, not only for the perception of Jungkook and Taehyung's relationship, but for the narrative of BTS as a whole. For many fans, the emotional impact of hearing Taehyung's words firsthand was overwhelming. Tears were reported at fan gatherings, where ARMY replayed clips of his revelation repeatedly, analyzing every nuance. The intensity of their reaction underscores how deeply the fanbase is invested in the emotional well-being of the members. To hear that Jungkook's reliance on Taehyung is tied to something far more serious than casual closeness transforms their interactions from fan service into a symbol of survival and resilience. It also raises an unsettling question. What struggles are still hidden from view, and what role does Taehyung continue to play in shielding Jungkook from them? The ripple effects of this disclosure will not fade quickly. Already, discussions are emerging about how this may influence future activities, performances, and even public appearances. If Jungkook continues to be seen primarily with Taehyung, fans will now interpret it with the added context of this revelation. Every glance, every word exchanged between the two will carry a weight of meaning layered with the knowledge that their connection is not simply optional but essential. And every absence of others in Jungkook's inner circle will stand out more starkly, inviting further speculation. In the end, Taehyung's decision to reveal this truth has shifted the conversation irrevocably. He has made it clear that Jungkook's choice is not trivial, not temporary, and not without consequence. ARMY is left stunned, grappling with the magnitude of what it means for their beloved members. Was this revelation meant as a shield to protect Jungkook, a signal that he is not alone, or a challenge to the world to see beyond the surface? Whatever the motivation, the impact is undeniable. Taehyung has spoken, and the truth he shared has altered everything. The only certainty that remains is that ARMY will not forget this moment. Taehyung's words will echo in every discussion, every theory, and every interpretation of Jungkook's actions from this point forward. And until Jungkook himself chooses to speak, the world will continue to search for meaning in the revelation that one man, standing before millions, dared to expose. Jungkook only chose Taehyung, and now everyone knows why.